Hello.
Your screen. Right. Thank you. So before we get into it, let's understand that we know that transportation management is something which there for times immemorial. Ever since the days of the normal walking to the bullock cart through different phases of vehicles, we know that transportation manages management is quite an ancient one. But suddenly we see significance in terms of transportation management systems. When I say suddenly, I don't mean now, I don't mean even this decade. I actually mean the previous decade. So if we ask any logistics consultant who has been into logistics for about 20 years or so, who has seen different phases in the logistics team, he will tell you that at one point of a time, to move something, a material from place A to place B, we didn't have even a standard container. Now we are having different standards. We don't have a standard vehicles. We don't have a standard routes. So this transportation management slowly started to evolve and started to get standardized. So it is at that moment different sort of software started to come, what we call as these softwares as transportation management softwares. So these software started to evolve. So this is what this slide speaks all about. So initially, when we look at any factory, gentlemen, can you mute yourself? I see someone on the mic. So when we look at business from a factory level, let's take the case of manufacturing because we can speak more in terms of manufacturing. Business is always interested to control cost. And when we say ERP, when we say enterprise, we actually mean it's a factory system. It's an internal enterprise system, right? So it's enterprise system. You want to control the cost entire this across this enterprise. So initially, the business sets were interested in controlling the production cost because that is how the MRPs actually started. And let's say I want to manufacture a laptop and I try to goad more control on controlling the cost for the laptop. At a break even level, it's okay. But when I go beyond it, it will directly affect the quality of my product. So production cost can only lead to a particular extent. And then business slowly started to evolve. At that moment, since we have procurement guys, procurement related softwares started to come into picture. And because there is a typical unbalance going on. For example, to manufacture this laptop, I need a supply. The supplier is giving to me at probably some plastic or steel. I am receiving it at a particular rate. I am manufacturing it and I am selling it. The supplier is not ready to give me a discount, but customer is asking me for a discount. So suddenly, when the competition started, in the procurement we had challenges from the supply chain perspective. From procurement side, it was like you need to have a very hard bargain from the vendor side. That is how Potter's model and different things came to make sure that you are getting a very good bargain at the vendor level. So at such moment we understood that we need to control procurement cost also. It was controlled to some extent because the more you try to control procurement cost, again you will end up with you know uh, relatively less quality raw material. And then we started to get into inventory. So how to control the inventory, because this is again becoming a cost factor. Many tools started to come to control this inventory. And the 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 last junk of the place, the high final place where we could reach in terms of inventory control is highly evolved systems where you can manage right now just in time. And there we stopped. Now business is understanding that there is one more place to control it, and that is transportation. So this change or this need has been identified not now. This has been identified even in the last decade. So ever since the globalization started to come, more stress has been levied on this transportation because now we have things moving from place A to place B through different routes. Many softwares like Topaz, Oracle TM, Transpo, Aspire, many things started to come. non-SAP systems to do this. So this is what this slide speaks about. In battling competition where every business is heading towards cost optimization, a logistician needs to understand both logistics core operations and transportation functions. So I mean that logistics and transportation are different. They are not the same. Of course, transportation will come inside the logistics. It's a subset of logistics. But when you look at logistics and transportation, there is a clear bifurcation in terms of the process. Transportation industry has successfully embraced all aspects of planning and execution by influencing what? Profit maximization, optimizing costing structure, customer committed date, effective utilization of transportation space, international compliances, etc., etc., etc. So this is the need. Because of this, different softwares came to manage this. Now let's forget about this and let us just have a fair discussion on what transportation management is all about before we get into the technical aspect of what SAP is and what SAP transportation management is.
Nikita?
Can I proceed?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Let's take an ideal case. I want to move a consignment from somewhere from the New York to India. Let's assume this could be your sales requirement, this could be your procurement requirement, however you put it. Let's have it as a case. If I want to move a material from so and so place, as highlighted here, till India, if I ask a normal logistics consultant, what is the best way to move it? Or which is the best way I can move it till India? Gentlemen, what could be the answer?
The best way is air freight.
Okay, and what could be the reason for it? Because there is some factor which is driving you to say that.
Yeah, I mean, it is easy and it is like, it takes less time.
Perfect. And any more options?
It depends on the goods what you're moving. If it is a heavyweight and those will be by sea. If it is a lightweight and it's depends on urgency, what time frame, it's air or sea, it will decide.
Great. May I know who is talking?
Srinivas.
Okay.
Yeah, in this case, I think we need to identify what is the best route and what is the best price, and also the time bound, like at what date the customer is requiring the goods. So by all these parameters we need to look at, and accordingly we need to plan best route, and also price is the main factor also in this case.
Okay, thank you, Bajrang. So if you can see all the answers are always coming from two perspectives. One is from cost, one is from time. So this is how a normal logistics consultant would think. If I want to move any material from place A to place B, number one, which is the simplest way? Air. Simplest way, quickest way, of course, it is costlier. Not always, but most of the times. The second way, like someone has answered, based on the material. If I can load it on ship or so, I can send it. It again depends on cost, like another gentleman has replied. So most of the times, we speak about these three options. What are they? Number one, sea. Number two, air. And to make it more complicated, because let us take situations where even road can come into picture. Maybe from North America, I'm trying to move it till Germany or France through air or sea. And from there, I can use road option as well. Of course, I need to go through different countries, but I can use this option as well, right? So I have all the options as of now. I can't say right now which is the best one, but let's see. If I say now, I got three options here. I can use these three ways to move it till India. Now, if I say the best option is air, now the question is, what if my material is so huge that I cannot accommodate in air cargo? Can I move that? I can't. Then I have to go to another option of sea. Now again, what if my material is it comes in such a category that I cannot even move it through sea. For example, we'll discuss different examples in coming slides. So for example, it's a very high valued capital good, or it's something which is more in terms of rare medical equipments or rare medical type. You cannot move it through sea. Next, can I move it through road? Let's say I can move it through road, but what if I'm having so many border restrictions? Probably this particular material cannot move through road. So there are other parameters apart from cost and time also which need to be taken into parameter, and there are many such parameters. Let us look into it one after the other, because if I start saying like this, I can't move it through air, I can't move it through sea, and I can't move it through road also. If my material is coming in such a thing, what to do? So it's not so easy. You have 4 options to move. One from ocean, through ocean, I'm sorry. You can also use road, you can also use air, and then you can also use multimodal transportation. Just a catchy word, that's all. So it actually means that you are using more than 2 modes of transport to move it. For example, from port of New York, I'm trying to move it till France, or and from France or Italy all through Turkey, I'm trying to move it through road. So I have 2 combinations, right? One through sea and then through road. So this is called as multimodal. I have 4 options left. I can also have rail sometimes. Okay, so I have all the options available to move a material from place A to place B. But according to my points, I can't move it from any place, because I am always speaking that from air I have a material restriction, from sea I have a restriction, from road also I have a restriction, and from rail also I can have restrictions. So there are some sets of parameters on which logistics team actually works, which is happening at a level where the transportation department is deciding it. Before we go into it, we are all from SAP. So you know something called a transportation planning point, which we maintain in our systems. What is this planning point actually doing? Is it merely executing it? No, it's doing a set of planning over there, which is not covered in the system though, but a set of planning, a thought process is going on, and that thought process is what is transportation domain all about. Number 1, material specific information. Gentleman from North America now. I cannot take the name though, but there is a very famous food product which comes from the North American, from USA, and it's imported to India, and actually it's imported to major parts of the world also, all throughout the Asia as well. So we import this food product, and this food product is manufactured in batches. Okay, we know what is a batch, right? So let me make it simple. This week I manufacture some 10,000 bottles of such food product, let's say. Okay, so this 10,000 bottles of food product, I am sending it from North America, and I am supposed to receive it in India. So since this company is sending or exporting the material all throughout the Asia, I am receiving it from different routes. Let's say I order some 2 lakhs of bottles. 1 lakh of bottles I might get from Chennai port, and the other 1 lakh bottles I might get from Gujarat port, that is from Surat. It can happen like that. And sometimes 1 lakh bottles I can receive from air, and sometimes the other 1 lakh bottles I can receive from sea, that is to the port, ocean port. Fine, we were receiving these products, but suddenly there is a problem going on. I received 2 lakh such bottles, and in the 2 lakhs, 1 lakh bottles are getting what can I say, getting spoiled in less than 15 days, and the other 1 lakh bottles are doing fine. Now how do I know that? I have something called shelf life. So when we place any product in the supermarkets, we have a life expectancy in terms of how much time it will stay in the in the shelves. Before the shelf life expiry, only the product is getting spoiled, rotten. And it took a lot of time to understand, because Everything is manufactured at the same time. It's manufactured today and it's sent today. So it's a batch. It's having the same chemical composition. So if it something has to get spoiled, everything has to get spoiled at once. But it's not happening like this. After a couple of getting back into logistics and getting back into transportation, the real issue was sorted out. And the issue is, when you're trying to send these food products through sea, due to some atmospheric interactions, influences, or reactions, some of these bottles were getting corrupted, and the things which were sent through flight, they were doing good. So the very first thing, before we decide time, cost, and other factors, we first need to see how feasible the material is with means of transport. And the second thing is material dimensions. Let's say I have a truck, a normal truck, a haulage, and this haulier I can load some 1,000 kgs of weight. That is, this truck can carry 1,000 kgs of weight. I have 1,000 kgs of cotton with me, and let's say I have 1,000 kgs of steel rods with me. 1,000 kgs of steel rods, they won't take much space, right? I can directly load them into that 1,000 kgs truck and I can send it. But what if I want to load 1,000 kgs of cotton? Truck can still take it, but what about the area? What about the space? 1,000 kgs of cotton, in terms of space, will occupy more than 2 trucks. But in this case, I am planning in terms of weight. So somewhere, before you decide how to move it, you also need to convert it, some materials, in terms of weight, volume, etc. So we have one gentleman who's already implemented a solution for logistics industry, airlines. So he's very much aware of why these things have to happen. Now, for the best example I can give is, whenever we see any fuel trucks, the trucks which are carrying the gasoline, just try to have a look on the truck. On the truck, it will be written, the maximum kgs this truck can bear is around 1,000. I am trying to move a liquid and the truck is having a capacity in terms of kgs. How are we quantifying the liters into kgs? Or how are we quantifying the air pressure? Sometimes we decide even based on that. So how are we quantifying the air pressure or volume in terms of weight? So somewhere you need to have a factor based on which you can decide it. For example, 900 grams, 900 ml of any liquid is equal to 1 kg of, 1 liter of any liquid is equal to 900 grams. So there is a conversion going on, because you need to handle those instances as well. And the next one is material properties. Let's take some cases. Since most of us are from ECC background, I requested 2 materials. I, as of customer, I have requested 2 materials. Material A, let's say some alcohol, and material B, a pair of matchsticks or a lighter. I know it's a bad combination, but this is how this customer has ordered. You created a sales order. You have 2 materials inside this sales order, or you can have 2 different sales orders also. One sales order for alcohol, another sales order for matchsticks or lighters. It depends up to your business process. Then, if it is a single sales order, it will create a single delivery. If you are having 2 sales orders, it will create 2 deliveries. Very good. What does normal conventional ECC system do? Materials are originating from the same place. Customer, that is the destination, is also to the same place. Shipping point is also to the same place. Payment of terms are also same. You are very happy. You consolidate it. That is, we put multiple deliveries into a shipment and send it. Why? Because we are trying to optimize the cost. But in reality, if I put alcohol and a matchsticks inside a truck, can we expect the consignment to be delivered? No, because it is very volatile. The combination itself could spoil your entire consignment. Now, normally when we speak, I am only speaking from two sales orders perspective, but imagine from factory level. When from one shipping point, so many materials are going on, and at one point, at one place or another, they're getting consolidated in some truck or other. Now, forget about this. Let's take the case of DHL or FedEx or anyone for that matter. So you have provided your materials to the FedEx. You as of one customer, he as of another customer, they as of the third customer. So these three different customers have provided three different materials. He's trying to consolidate them into a single flight or into a single truck. So material properties are also important. We need to make sure which material will react with which one and which material will not. So first, before we decide how to move a material from New York to India, the properties of material should be identified. Can I proceed?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank
Yeah. Hi, Ajay. Ajay, one question.
May I know who is this?
Bajrang.
Hi,
So,
Bajrang.
yeah. So, what is the difference between LE logistic execution, what is there in ECC, and between transportation management?
Yeah, we'll come
Like,
to
now,
that.
what is the drawback of LE so that transportation management has been introduced?
I did not get into SAP at all.
Okay.
You will know why. I am actually indirectly I am showing the defects of LE also. Like I already pointed out three. Now the another one. Who accepts what? So you want to transport a material from place A to place B. So we know how the world is right now. So the ties between the bilateral issues going on between USA and Russia as well. So right now Russia has imposed an embargo on food imports from some places. You want to move a material from place A to place B. And when you're trying to move it, there is some intermediary place. For example, I want to move the material from USA to India. And I chose an option of road, right? Somewhere. The material from New York is moving till France. And from France, I'm trying to push it to India. What if my material is not accepted in France? My material might be accepted in India. What if my material is not accepted in France? For example, I want to move a very high alcoholic natured material to Germany, but through Saudi Arabia. So I am trying to export it from India, and this material is going through Saudi Arabia. Will the territorial borders of Saudi Arabia permit this material to go? No. Now, let us come back again to the normal logistics. You have a sales order. I'll come to purchase at a later stage. So because during the time of purchase, it's a headache of a vendor, right? So you have a sales order and you're trying to move the material. That is, you know the place from where you're moving, your shipping point, you know the customer who is receiving it, and you have intermediary locations. We don't use though, but yes, we do have that functionalities where you can put different legs. Probably it's moving from this place to here and from this place to there, etc., etc. When we are deciding those legs, do we know whether these legs will actually accept your consignment or not? And the second thing, whatever legs we provide, these legs are inside your ECC system. In reality, they can be different places also. Do we have any visibility? We don't have. So apart from the material properties, you also need to get into some external factor where you can decide whether this material, when I have to move it from place A to place B, will I be able to take different locations or different intermediary locations or different stops into consideration, and their rules also into consideration. This is a second thing before we decide how to move a material from place A to place B. And then you have got the third one, vehicle constraints. Number one, let's say I'm trying to move a very high material, let's say crane. We export cranes, we import cranes, we import cars. How are these getting imported? Can I directly load a crane into an air flight? Can I directly load a crane into a shipment, an ocean vessel? First thing, my crane has to be, I mean, it should have a feature where I can dismantle the crane. That is, break the crane into pieces, bits and pieces. Only then I can load it. So, vehicle capacity is something which you need to take into consideration before again deciding how to move a material from place A to place B. Now, you created a sales order. You are trying to do a delivery. Is delivery possible without a vehicle? It's not possible. Are we taking, we know that, I mean, from sales perspective, we don't see that, but generally from production perspective, because in sales, we don't have that. From production perspective, you have something called capacity. Every production plant will have a capacity. Every day, it will produce this much only. Even an MRP department will have a capacity. It would plan only these many dependent or independent requirements per day. The same way, vehicle also has a capacity. Sales organization or purchase organization will not have a capacity because this is the place from where the business is getting generated. But once when you're trying to honor your sales or purchase requirement, you need to have a vehicle. Are we taking that capacity into consideration when we are trying to go ahead with any sales order or a purchase order? We are not. And the second point, advance booking and confirmation. I'm sorry, these are not two things, it's the same thing. Advance bookings and confirmations. Let's say Bajrang has ordered a material. He has ordered the material to be delivered on the first week of April. And I am in USA. And I am very happy when I heard that, because Bajrang is in India and he has given a time till April. I can very easily deliver the consignment to Bajrang. So today I go and approach some airways or seaways. Let's say I approach the seaways, because now I know that I can plan very good. I can reduce the cost also because I have time. I approach seaways and I say, why don't you transport this consignment to Bajrang? The seaways replies to me, I can't do that. I can't move any transportation till the first week of May. Now I am surprised. I ask him why. He says, well, try to look into my ocean vessel. It carries at least 300 to 400 containers. And you need to book your container space at least 15 days in advance, because it's a high business. It's a port. Imagine a New York port where so many businesses are happening from different places. You can't expect the containers or space in the containers to be ready just like that. So my problem is, I want to honor the Bajrang's consignment, and I know that I am only taking internal factors of my company into consideration. How much time I can pick, how much time I can pack, what is the time to move it, different things inside. Everything is fine. I thought I can deliver it to Bajrang. I go to the carrier and I ask him, then he says there's no space. And he says, book at least 1 week in advance. Means even before Bajrang orders something, even before a sales order is created for Bajrang, I should have an intelligence that my system will do forecasting. We have forecasting for production, and based on MRP and planned goods issue and what do you call reorder point, we also have forecasting more or less controlled even for purchase. Do we have forecasting going on for logistics anytime in terms of transportation? We don't have. Typically, we need to forecast even transportation demand even before sales order comes, because now I know that every year in the month of March, Bajrang is going to order a very bulk material, and the first week of March, I should make sure every year to book some space in advance, so that no sooner someone from India orders, I should honor that space and I should give value to that sales order. So advance bookings and confirmation. Confirmation is a word which is used in ocean industry. Booking is generally the word which is used in air industry. So advanced confirmations is the word we use for oceans, and advanced bookings for air. So even before a sales order is created, you need to go and book the space. Do you have any intelligent system to do this to you? We don't. And when I'm trying to move the material from New York to India, we also need to take care of this. Do you have the space booked in advance? Sometimes this date also becomes a very important factor. We'll see that in the coming slides. Duration. So this is one parameter which everyone speaks about. Whenever we say how to move material from place A to place B, we start with time factor, right? Time taken to travel. So I don't need to go much into this, but some bits of it to see what's happening. Normally, from the factory perspective, once we commit a date that we will be delivering it on that particular date, we will have a slack time. If I say that I will deliver it on 21st of March, so there'll be a time, probably 21st March from morning to the end of the day or things like that. But ECC system doesn't give any importance to that delivery date. I'm sorry. For example, you have a sales order, and in that sales order, the delivery is for let's say next year. Okay, but when the delivery date is for next year, you are trying to create a delivery for this sales order. The system will always look to the material availability date. Now let's forget about the system. Any factory will confirm the delivery to the customer based on the date when material will be available in his plant. So if someone is asking, can you deliver it by tomorrow? I'll first think whether the material will be available with me today or not. If I have material today, I'll be able to confirm him for tomorrow, right? So we are always planning our delivery in terms of material availability date. Or if we have some evolved systems like EWM and etc., then we are again planning it in terms of the planned goods issue date, what we are getting. So in both the ways, whenever we see, we are actually trying to see the material availability date only. Now, imagine that I am a company, that is, I am a laptop manufacturing company, and I require some material. I require a material from some vendor, and that vendor is sending material to me. He is supposed to send it and I am supposed to receive it today. He says he shipped it. Due to some reasons, whatever reasons or uncalled reasons they be, I did not receive it today. I received it after 2 days. My production got stopped. I had a customer who was supposed to receive it tomorrow because I was supposed to deliver to this customer tomorrow. And since I didn't get the supplies at the right time, I couldn't start my production. I couldn't complete the production and sell the finished good to him tomorrow. So now do we understand? Normal delivering to the customer is fine. If there is some delay in it, it's okay. But what if your customer, or what if you are in OEM business, or what if your customers are also some manufacturing? If you do not deliver the product at the right time, then you for sure will be sued for it. And most of the times in our experience as SAP consultants, we know it. We have seen so many instances where when we decide to do the goods issue and the stock is not available, it's not any error. There could be many such situations. Probably, a high priority customer has come and he has consumed your stock. Maybe some back order processing has happened and the stock has been consumed to a different sales order. Maybe the APO systems have done a detailed scheduling in a different way this time, and maybe the demand planning was changed. Many things could have happened. Whatever the reasons be, it's very much possible that the stock assigned to some sales order might be consumed by another sales order. Are we taking any such situations when we speak about duration? We are not taking any such things. And the next thing is speed. I know that I can move a material from place A to place B in 3 days. Or I have a flight. I can move the material from USA to India on a flight, over a flight. And this flight is flying at a speed of, let's say, 1500 kilometers, which is the safest speed according to airline. You can go more than that as well, but 1500 is a safe maximum speed. So if it's traveling around 1500 kilometers per hour speed. Now, suddenly, once this flight came to, let's say, Europe, there was some climatic change, and the flight decided to hold there for 6 hours. And then the flight started. Can we expect it to reach at the right time? No. So, flight is also having a speed. It can only travel at 1500 kilometers per hour. Since you delayed it for 6 hours in some place, you can't expect it to travel at 5000 kilometers per hour. Everything is having speed. Are we taking that speed into consideration when we are calculating the time? In the very instance when we discussed, we were answering that the best way is to take time. If I want to move it quicker, I can go with air. When you are saying air, is only time taken into consideration? Speed also should be taken into consideration. Just a minute, gentlemen. This is something we are trying to miss when we are trying to move it from place A to place B. And apart from this, the second point what we all spoke about is transportation cost, right? So higher the cost or lower the cost, higher the cost or lower the cost. Based on these parameters, we are actually trying to decide whether we can move a material from place A to place B or not. Let us see clearly how different it is from logistics perspective and when you get into pure transportation perspective. I have got two customers. Let's say this customer A and one more customer B. Okay, this customer A, okay, is requesting some 1000 material, and this customer B is requesting some 1500 material. Okay, let me make it 1200 material. If I ask this question couple of years before, people would have laughed at me, because when I say if customer A is ordering 1000 material and if customer B is ordering 1200 material, and if I go to any sales guy and ask who is the priority customer, he would laugh at me and say both are priority customers. But nowadays, with highly evolved systems where demand planning and even scheduling is done in terms of APO, and when you are trying to know when to consume the stock and when not to consume the stock, the system is giving clear answers for us. So if, number one, let's say your inventory is also 1200. So customer A is asking for 1000, customer B is asking for 1200, and the inventory what you have got here is for 1200. Now, from inventory perspective, if you ask any inventory management professional, he would say the best way to lower my inventory cost is sell it to this customer B. At once it's gone. If I sell it to this customer, 1000 will be consumed, 200 will be less, but again I don't know whether this customer B will take 200 only or not. So best option, send it to or commit it to customer B. Now let us look at from sales perspective. Sales guy is also very happy, because by selling 1200 he's able to generate more revenue, and he's able to generate more revenue and do a better sale. Logistics wise, it's completely different, because let's say I want to move this material using a truck. This is the truck. This truck can carry a capacity of 100 material or 1000 material. Okay. Assume. So to move the material for customer A, I require one truck. But to move the material for customer B, I require one truck where I'll be placing this 1000 material, and then I require another truck where I need to load the rest 200 material. So 200 worth of material I am loading, and 80% of truck is empty. If I am moving it for 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers, it doesn't matter. 80% of truck is empty, it doesn't matter. Normal LTL, less truckload, it doesn't matter. But what if I'm trying to plan the same way of moving the consignment from North America to India? 80% of my vehicle is going empty. Is it a right one? Is this way of committing to customer B, who is having more stock, who is consuming more stock, who is deriving more revenue, honoring his sales order, is not a right proposition in this case, though it looks correct from sales perspective and production perspective and inventory perspective. When you are looking from transportation perspective, it's an altogether wrong choice. So when we speak about transportation costs, it's not just about thinking whether the total cost of moving the freight. Ocean, it will take less. Air, it will take more. It's not like that. There are some complex factors which you need to take into consideration when you are deciding about these transportation costs also. So, gentlemen, can I proceed?
Yeah,
please. Yeah.
Okay. So, apart from these things, now we have something which again is a very big problem: transportation delay. Some things are not in our hands. We decide to move a material from place A to place B, and it left your shipping point. Okay, the material left your shipping point. It covered some 100 or 200 kilometers. Then you found out some incident has happened. For some reasons, the truck broke down, or some whatever uncalled reasons, and the transportation met a delay. Do you have any control in your ECC? I mean, do we have any control in our SAP systems to control a material once it's out of your plant? The same thing even when you see from procurement perspectives, when we do stock transfers of moving it from from plant A to plant B, you don't have any visibility once the material is out of plant A until unless it comes into plant B. The word stock in transfer is really not handled anywhere. So if I'm trying to move and my material left my plant, it left and it's been 100 kilometers from my plant. I see that the truck broke down. Now, or I see that due to some reasons, due to some natural calamity, I can't move my truck from that place. Can I take an alternative decision? Can I take an alternative decision to move it from another route? Is my system really doing that? It's not doing that, because my system has visibility of my material only when it is in my plant. Once the material is out of my plant, the ERP system will not provide any visibility to you, because basically ERP system is a factory system. It's an internal system. Only internal entities, that's why it's called an enterprise. So only internal entities can be planned and tracked. Now what to do when I see such a situation where I have a transportation delay, some snowfall, and because of that the roads are blocked for 3 days, let's say, and you want to move your material, you want to take an alternate decision. Can my system do that? It can't. And next thing, you need to plan this also when you're trying to move a material from New York to India. So what all I discussed till now, these are the planning thought you are supposed to have, not from SAP, but from general transportation perspective. If someone is working in a transportation department, and if someone poses a question how to move a material from so and so place to so and so place, he takes these many factors into consideration before coming up with a plan. Now coming back, these same things or these same instances are planned using a system. So we have got different systems in the market, and SAP is one such, and SAP TM is a transportation solution. So this, you can imagine, I'll show you how the system looks also. So you can imagine this example what I gave of moving a material from New York to India. Imagine it as a sales order, or you're trying to receive a material from New York to India. Imagine this to be your procurement. So the example what I gave is clearly a business example. So this example is feeded into SAP TM system, and this SAP TM system will provide that solution to you. This SAP TM system is introduced by SAP AG as a solution for transportation management. What solution? I imply All the factors, whatever I spoke, these are the solutions. And presently the SAP TM is working on 9.4. I did not see right now any systems upgraded to 9.4. Most of the systems are still on 9.3. But yes, we have got 9.4 version as of the real update in the market in terms of how things are going on is concerned. And SAP TM is running on SCM platform. So before we get into the system, let's see what this SAP TM will do. It will do this. If you can see the slide, create order-based transportation request means it will capture a request like the request I have of moving a material from New York to India. That's a request. I'm sure EWM folks who are here can understand, because EWM also does the same. It captures delivery request. So you are capturing an order request. And after capturing an order request, you are trying to create a freight unit. What is the meaning of a freight unit? 100 kgs of cotton. Should I look cotton from weight or should I look cotton from volume? I am not supposed to say 100 kgs of cotton. I can say that, but when I'm trying to load it into a truck, I am more interested from the volume perspective. So I'm supposed to say probably 300 meter cube, I don't know, cube of volume of cotton or something. And when I say 100 kgs of steel, this time I need to take care of weight. So any sales order, any material in the world is three-dimensional. It will have weight, volume, and quantity. But in that, which parameter you have to take to plan it? That is what is your freight unit. And then you are performing this planning activity. The third step, perform planning. This planning, at this time, we are looking into all the factors what I spoke till now. Because only after looking all these factors, you will come with a holistic or a concise plan, or else it will be an abstract plan. You have to change it every now and then. And based on that, you are creating a delivery proposal. Means based on that, you are saying to your plant or your execution team that, hey, I planned it. You do this way. The best way is go like this. Go with this particular vehicle till here and then change to another vehicle or something like that. And this plan, you are sending it as a delivery proposal, and it does not stop there. Again, this delivery proposal is received into TM system. Means, quite confusing, right? Means, let's forget this. You have a sales order created today, and we have delivery in the month of December. Okay, so the month of December has come. You created a delivery, and you have already informed this FedEx that, when did you inform it? You informed it in the month of March that there is one consignment, you come and pick it up on December. He is very prompt. He comes to your shipping point on that particular day, probably let's say the December 31st. He comes to your plant to pick up, and you don't have the material. Your customer might be okay with it because you have such terms with him, but this FedEx is not okay with you because he has traveled some 5 to 10 kilometers, and he will ask you for that cost also because he needs to return back empty truck. So you need to plan based on delivery as well. When you plan based on sales order, you don't have stock. But when you plan based on delivery, you have stock coming into the picture. So, I mean, not every business will do like this. I'm just giving you a complete overview of how this planning will be handled. So once you plan based on sales order, when the stock is not available, again you are planning once the stock becomes available, because we have so many fluctuations going on in the factory. We don't know when the stock gets consumed or not. So we will, at the second level, we will plan the same thing with stock, and then we will adapt the transportation planning. Means whatever was there during the sales order time, whatever transportation plan we decided, we will adopt it. Means we will use the same one. Sometimes it can be different also. Why? Sometimes sales order can have one material, and during the time of delivery it can change. For example, I have decided to sell a laptop to a customer by December. He ordered one laptop, and I said I'll deliver by December. And by December, maybe my laptop model itself changed. Maybe it's more heavier, maybe it's more lighter. It could be anything. So the material in the sales order and the properties of the material in delivery can differ also. So that is the reason you need to have a concise plan. This is again a very big gap in ECC. So you need to replan again in terms of delivery, and then you are executing your transportation plan, which is the final one. And after execution, you are calculating your costs and you are asking the company to pay it. So this is how the steps are followed in SAP TM system. And if you see here in the third step, I said it performs transportation planning, right? So this is an OLAP system. We have so many OLAP systems, but I have seen very few OLAP systems who are in SAP which are really OLAP. Initially, when I worked in CRM, I thought CRM is OLAP system, but it only has very small functionality in terms of analytics. EWM system as an OLAP system, but EWM system also has very limited functionality in terms of optimizing. APO PPDS is actually the OLAP system. The APO systems, what we used to call initially advanced planning and optimization, where demand planning, product scheduling, supply network collaboration, when you're trying to spread this demand across different plants, this is the place where actually analytics is happening. So what is OLAP, by the way? It's online analytical processing system, means it will do analysis to you. Sales order is not analysis, production order is not analysis, but MRP, more or less, I don't call it analysis though, but MRP is an analysis. And if we leave this, demand planning is purely analysis. You're planning the demand, you're analyzing the demand, and based on demand, you're deciding to which sales order you have to allocate the demand or not. The same way, SAP TM will also do this demand planning for you, or it will do this analysis for you.
Ajay, regarding freight unit, could you please explain, because at that point I didn't understand.
Let's say you want to move, you have two sales orders and you have got two trucks, and your truck can carry 1000 kgs of weight. If you ask truck, he will only say weight. He will say, my truck can carry only 1000 kgs of weight. You have got a sales order where a material is cotton, which is having 1000 kgs weight. You have got another sales order where you have got iron, which is again a 1000 kgs weight. 1000 kgs weight iron, you can put it in 1000 kgs truck. But what about 1000 kgs cotton? You can't put it in 1000 kgs truck, because 1000 kgs cotton will take more space, right? So sometimes when you create a sales order, you have to plan based on weight for certain materials, and for some materials you have to plan based on volume, and for some materials maybe you have to plan based on quantity, right? So every material will have 3 dimensions, but all the 3 dimensions are not taken into consideration. Only one dimension should be taken into consideration, and that dimension can change based on different material. That is what I meant by a freight unit. Freight unit means the unit based on which you are trying to plan your material. I hope
Yeah, got it. So
okay.
I mean, based on the weight, so we need to also select on the truck, like 1000 kg cotton. So means one different truck will be assigned to that, and 1000 iron will be a different truck will be assigned to that. So based on that, freight unit will be created.
Right.
Is it right?
So based on different parameters. For cotton, use volume only. For iron,
Okay.
use weight only. Things like that. So use volume only, use weight only is a easier freight unit actually. Okay. Now, coming to TM as OLAP system. Before we get into it, let us understand a small theory. So on what is this OLAP system, because we have a functionality called optimizer in TM. To understand that, we need to know this. If someone has worked in logistics domain, there is a theory, what we call it as postman syndrome. Imagine this to be a central post office, okay, and you have got a postman, a typical Indian postman, who is given, who is supposed to deliver. Assume that an ideal situation where you got a single postman working for this post office. He needs to deliver certain parcels to east, because he has got some parcels to deliver at east, some to the extreme sides of east, right, touching north and south as well, and some here. And he has some parcels he needs to deliver to the west, some to extremes of the west, so that he's again touching northwest and southwest, and some over here, and then some towards the north, and again extreme parts of north, so that it's even spreading towards the eastern side and to the western side, and then he has got south. So he has been given all these parcels in his hand, or he is given a cycle. Now he cannot carry all the things on a single cycle, so he is very sad about it, because according to him, he is trying to use a cycle, first collect all the parcels which he needs to deliver to east, and he is starting to east, he is moving this way to east, and after covering it, probably he's coming back again to the central post office. He's collecting for the parcels for the west, and again he's going to west, again he's coming back. He is very happy, he's very unhappy, very disappointed, because according to him, his work is doubling and there is no result of it. So we have given him a vehicle. This is called postman syndrome in management. So we have given him a vehicle. Now he is very happy, because he doesn't need to go on a cycle, and he has loaded all the material into this truck, that is north, east, west, south. All the parcels which he needs to deliver are in this truck now. Now this truck started, and since he is an Indian, this time he preferred to start from east. Now he is going to the eastern side. He went to the far east, and then he understood that he still has some things to cover eastern side. Either he has to choose to go to north, or either he has to choose to go to south. Now he chose to go to north. Again he has to come back to complete this, and then he has to come here, and then he has to go. So now he started to think, well, my problem did not solve even if I'm given a truck, because every place when I am going to deliver it, I am coming to one place or another more than twice. This is called postman syndrome, because now he's confused. He doesn't know where to start, he doesn't know where to go, because wherever he starts, he's coming back to different places again and again at the same time. Now let us understand the same thing from our business process also. Imagine this black dot instead of your post office. Imagine this to be your plant in your city in North America. You have got this plant, sales plant, and from there, or production plant, whatever you call it, so, or your purchase facility. So this is the place where you got your plant. And now imagine these different circles as different customers, and they have ordered different material, and you are supposed to deliver it today, right? That is how the business runs. And you have got different trucks in your company. Now which truck should carry which material, and the truck should go in which route? Is this not the same problem we have, just like the postman is facing? Because if I start sending this truck, I am again worried, because each truck is going through the same place again and again. So these types of problems are identified in the transportation industry, and there were some solutions which are given for it. Mathematically, you have got a functionality called simplex method, which uses certain if and else combinations to come out with the best one. And then you got matrix method, which can also be used with the simplex method to come with the most optimized route about how to go, so that he will not touch the other place again. All these things were actually converted into program when we had the module called SAP APO. And in SAP APO, you had a program called TPVS, Transportation Planning and Vehicle Scheduling. So this was a program, and this program had all these options of doing that calculations to you. And simply we call this TPVS as optimizer. That is the reason APO is called Advanced Planning and Optimizer. So this optimizer program will actually do all these things to you. At a later stage, APO broke into different submodules as well, because APO is the first SCM system, and it broke into different modules. And later, this optimizer functionality is removed from APO, and they brought a new module which is called as TM. And this optimizer, they put this optimizer on this system, TM system. Means it will directly optimize, means it will automatically do the analysis and it will give it to you. That is the reason TM system is called analytical system, because it is having the optimizer embedded functionalities which are cloned from the pre-existing APO systems. Now we had a question about what is problem with LES, and why shouldn't we go for TM, things like that. So all these things will be addressed now. So after analyzing that SAP TM should have an optimizer, SAP had one more issue. There are so many transportation softwares available in the market. So some transportation softwares only used to receive the request. Receive the request means someone sends a request saying that I need to move the material from place A to place B. That request will be received. That's all. And there are some other softwares which will only do the planning, which you can see here, planning the transportation. There are certain softwares which only used to decide the best carrier. That is, some softwares were there to say whether to send it to FedEx or to DHL or to CNG, whichever you want. And there were certain softwares to decide best schedule and optimizing the load. What do we mean by optimizing the load? Let's say you have got a truck, and on this truck you want to move a very heavy material. If you keep that heavy material at the end of the truck, and let's say that the truck is taking a steep ascent, means it's going on an uphill, and if the material is too heavy and if it is placed at the end of the truck, what will happen? The truck will fall down, because the heavier thing is pulling the truck down. And what if I put the heavier material at the side of the truck, probably to the left tire or towards the right tire? When the truck is taking a blind turn, the truck will fall down. Normally we see weighbridge, we see everywhere, even in US as well, we see weighbridge stations, right? What does these weighbridge stations do? Actually, they make sure that the material is put in the truck in the correct way, so that the truck will not fall down no matter how much heavier material you load on the truck. So there are certain softwares which even do that optimizing load for you, and there are certain softwares who will do that cost calculation to you, what I discussed. But these are different softwares which are used. When SAP has come, it decided that why don't I embed all these things into mine? So SAP TM system will take the request, will plan the request, will find the best carrier, find the best resource, find the best schedule. It can even optimize your load. It can even do your optimized calculation, and it will even do your tracking. So as the first line says, it's an inclusive solution which is addressing all the things. We know that SAP always comes with some big boulder to address all the solutions. And coming to SAP TM as a better edge. Number one.
Ajay, sorry to interrupt. Best resource, what does it mean? Could you please?
The resource is nothing but different trucks you have got in your company.
Okay.
Yeah. So not only trucks, anything which are using trucks, forklifters, equipment, containers, whatever you are using to move your material, physical resources in terms of how you are handling the material, all those things are your resources.
Okay. So carrier means also it also comes under truck, right?
Carrier is not a truck. Carrier is the person who is owning the truck, organization who is actually owning the truck.
Okay.
You have got FedEx. Yeah, you have got FedEx. FedEx is a carrier. And FedEx might be having many resources. He might have his own flights. He might have his own ocean vessels. So those are called as resources. Okay. We'll discuss all these things. Carrier is, imagine carrier to be, an organization. The best way. Carrier is an organization, company. Resource is different vehicles. In layman terms, you call it vehicles, but it's not the right word. But different vehicles for now, you can think as resource. Okay, gentlemen, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay.
Okay. Yeah. Now, SAP TM has a better edge. More importantly, SAP TM not only works as a standalone, means SAP TM can work as a standalone system also. Because there are certain companies which do not require ECC. Why? They don't have their production, they don't have their procurement, they don't even have their sale. So in that case, you do not require it. They only do movement of goods. Best example, FedEx, DHL, all these things, they don't sell anything, they only sell service. So such systems can work on a standalone system, like you've got standalone ERM, CRM, standalone GTS, standalone EWM. You can use this also as a standalone system. And then you can also use it as an integrated system, orchestrating its functions across ECC, EWM, GTS, CRM, EHS, and EM. Now let's see, ECC. Why do you need to integrate ECC system with TM system? Number one, you are trying to do the sales order planning. Today you created a sales order and you want to deliver it by the next month. You are planning only based on sales order. In ECC, always the planning is done based on sales order. Please remember this. It is never done based on delivery. Not just in ECC. Any document in SAP, the planning is always done on the preceding document, never on the succeeding document. You have a sales order created, based on those sales order parameters, you create a delivery. You have a delivery created, based on those parameters, you plan it in EWM. You have a delivery created, based on those parameters only you plan in GTS. So the preceding document is the document based on which the succeeding document is getting planned. But in reality, it could be otherwise. Today I plan a sales order and I decide that I have to deliver to some customer after 2 months. And during the time of delivery, the customer can change his requirement. Probably he can say that, well, I don't want this, I want some another thing. So when you want to plan at sales order level and when you want to plan even at delivery level, you use ECC systems. Now coming to integrations, if you want to plan sales order, if you want to plan purchase order, if you want to plan stock transport orders, if you want to plan return orders, then all these things can be planned because these are handled from ECC. All these things can be planned by integrating it with TM system. And next, EWM system. Normally, EWM is a system where you actually take care of planning the deliveries, and sometimes you can also do shipments from EWM. So why EWM is required? Let's say you sent some material. I mean, you created a sales order and you decided to you committed to some customer that you will deliver this customer by day after tomorrow, and you requested the truck to come into your yard today. So this truck has come to your yard, and then you found out that material is not there. So if you want to plan the stock, the existing stock situations, and how the movement of yards are controlled, for example, because we have got a couple of EWM guys today in the demo. So let's say I'm trying to import something at port of New York. I am supposed to import, let's say, some fruit grains into USA, and from port of New York, it is at the yard now. It went to yard, and from yard, I am supposed to bring it to my storage location. Sales order cannot do that. I don't know what is a yard. A purchase order cannot do that. Purchase order doesn't know what is a yard. So if I want to plan even such high small movements, I require integration with EWM system so that I can go at a very concise level and do it. And then GTS. When I am trying to move, that is when I'm trying to send or when I'm trying to receive, whichever it might be, who is actually carrying the material? The carrier is carrying the material. So for someone who has asked just now, let's say FedEx, he's a carrier. I have given my material to him and I am saying, deliver it to so and so place in India. He is carrying my material. Now, when he is carrying my material, who is actually interacting with him in terms of customs and port authorities? They are not interacting with me. They are not interacting with the company. They are interacting with the carrier, because he is the one who is taking care of that consignment. So in that case, if you have any customs declarations, if you have a letter of credits, if you have any guarantees, or if you want any port of exits or any new handling charges or new handling rules or restrictions coming into picture, can you handle from normal systems? No, you can't. In that case, you can integrate your GTS system with the TM system. and then you've got CRM system, what we call a C4C now. So normally, if you start integrating CRM system with your logistics, you can create sales orders from CRM system and send it to the normal ERP systems, even from a cloud platform. But nowadays, if you order something, you can clearly see the difference. Take the case of Amazon. When we order something from Amazon, initially it used to ask us, rate the quality of the product, rate the quality of the seller. Now, when we order anything from Amazon, we are also having a new thing. How is the delivery experience? How do you rate the delivery experience? Indeed, most of the delivering companies are coming with the feature of adding the delivery experience, because the delivery experience is also becoming a feedback nowadays. It's not just about how good the material is. Now, how good the delivery was is also a part of your feedback. So if you want to capture such feedbacks in your CRM system so that you can do best analytics on which transportation carrier is doing the best and which customer is receiving it at the right time, you want to do any such analysis, you can integrate CRM system with TM system. And you've got EHS, environment, health and safety. This is actually a part of GRC, governance, risk and compliance. So nowadays everything is becoming green. You want to move a truck, the truck has to be pollution free. It should go through a series of pollution checks. We don't have though much in Asia though, but when we speak about North America and Europe especially, you got so many such factors coming into picture. You can't use a truck which is older than 15 years old to move the transportation. Some trucks are supposed to go through some lanes only. Some trucks are not supposed to go through some particular lanes. So you've got some environment, health and safety parameters. When I'm trying to move a material from New York to India, and when I decided some truck or a flight, even those flights will have some healthy safety parameters. One such parameter was, like I discussed, 1500 kilometers could be the maximum speed, safe maximum speed they can go, probably when they are crossing through Great Atlantic. So there are different such parameters, and if you have to take these things also into consideration. So if you want to plan such things, you can integrate your EHS systems with the TM system. You can do a concept called dangerous goods. You want to plan the dangerous goods. What are dangerous goods? Some goods can become volatile. You are trying to handle it. Best example, handle with care. It will be written. And don't shake it much. It's inflammable. So if you are trying to handle such things as well, then you are trying to integrate your EHS system to your TM system. And then you have got EM system, event management. Very soon, this module name is getting changed to tracking and tracing. So if in case if you hear the word tracking and tracing, we are indirectly referring to the EM module. So tracking and tracing. I move the material out of my shipping point, but I don't have any visibility. I want to find out where my material is, because probably after 100 kilometers, my truck might break down. And once my truck breaks down, I need to suggest alternate route at that time only. So to do that, I can use the option event management. As the name itself says, events. Truck broke down, loading started, some calamity has happened, or I want to go through an alternate route. All those things can be captured in this module, event management, and they can be and they can be sent to the TM system. So if you can see, these integrations are spread across all the things. And now we also have integrations coming with plant maintenance. So because when you're in plant maintenance, it's a part of production stream. You maintain actually different things. You maintain your equipments there, you maintain your cranes there, you maintain your forklifters there. So these are all these things come under the stream called plant maintenance. You need to take care of them as well. So you can also integrate plant maintenance with the TM system. So if someone starts working on the TM, he needs to have, or very soon he will have an idea on different aspects of different these modules, because every of these module requires movement of goods, and that movement of goods can happen only with transportation module. And the next thing, it will cover both shipper and LSP scenario. So shipper scenario means these are companies which will have their own products, and LSP scenario means you don't have any products, but you only provide service. So shippers, every company is having its own fleet nowadays, but LSPs means FedEx and DHL, someone airways, railways, So these things actually come under pure LSP scenarios. So industry related solutions are also available in terms of this. If you want to implement for airways, oceanways, seaways, directly you can go for LSP model. If you want to implement with ERP and TM system, you can go with shipper model. And it involves all modes of transport: road, ocean, air. I missed it. You have rail also. And all these four modes it will support. When I say four modes, I mean from industry perspective also. For example, we suppose someone has implemented for air, we recently heard, and right now one of the best railways in the world is going on implement in North America only. It's going on TM implementation. Most of the ocean carriers in Europe are already on TM. So different industry related LSPs are also getting into this because it will support all these modules. And then what are the features it has got? I'll get into the system now. So it will support domestic inbound process. Means if you're trying to do procurement, it will support it. International procurements and domestic outbound, international outbound, containers. So sometimes when you're moving material from place A to place B using an ocean, containers can be used in ocean, containers can be used on road as well. So when you're trying to go with container based planning, it will also help you to plan your containers, and then it will also help you plan your trucks. It will also help you plan your air freights. It will help you plan your rail shipments, and it will also help you plan your parcel shipments. So on a whole, this module will cover all aspects of transportation. Unlike addressing only some different parts, it will do everything for you. Now, just to give you a glimpse, let me log into the system. So this is how the TM system looks, but as you can see, TM is a part of SCM. So you've got event management, transportation management, extended warehouse management, different things. But TM is the only system where working on a web portal is compulsory. So EM is also part of, EWM is also part of SCM, just like TM, but it's not compulsory. Even in sales, sales also you can plan with web portal by going to internet sales, but that's not mandatory. But for this module, if you want to work on SAP TM, you should not work on GUI. There is no concept of GUI. You are supposed to go through the pure NWBC web portal interface only. Why? We will look into that in our coming sessions about the architecture of TM. So this is how it looks to you. This is what is a TM system. So this way it has released it during the release of TM 8.0. That is during 2008, it came with this WebDyn Pro model. Just imagine why, because we keep hearing that why TM was failure, and TM took long time to come compared to EWM. It's not like that. The module is very advanced, and it came before its maturity time. People were not ready to come to that level. Now they are coming to that level because now we have S4 HANA coming. Now they are saying that database tables are different. Now you can also have cloud integrated. You can have working on apps, etc. These things are already available when the TM module has come. So this is how it looks to you. And this is what is TM module all about. You don't need to go to any transaction. Whatever you want to do, you just go there and you click it. That's it. So if you want to, let's say, plan something, you want to create a freight order, you go here and create a freight order. Now you created a sales order because I said moving a requirement from place A to place B. I want to move something from New York to India. That is a requirement, right? So let's say you created some sales order. That sales order will automatically come to your TM system because TM is different, ECC is different. These are two different systems, right? So no sooner you create a sales order, that sales order's details will be passed to the TM system here. We need to wait because we are trying to pull through NWBC. like this. So you can see here original order. So these original orders are nothing but sales orders. So if I open something, like this. So this is a sales order, you see, and this sales order information, sales order is a multi-dimensional document, even purchase order. So you don't need so many details. It just says, look, I have received a sales order, and this sales order, you have to move it. You have to move this material from shipping point, which is in Hamburg, from so and so address, to the destination location, which is in Atlanta. Now do you see? This is the same example I took in the demo. So you will receive a requirement like this, and based on this requirement, you will decide which truck should I use, how to consolidate it, how to do the planning. And all these times I am doing planning only based on sales order. I can do the same planning based on delivery. I can even work on shipments, and I can even work on purchase order. So this is how the requirements are received. And then optimizer is actually not a freeware. You are supposed to install it. You don't get it in the normal IDES systems, but I can very well explain to you even in the absence of optimizer, because manual planning, if you know it, optimizer is a cakewalk. So this is the place I'm going. You see, transportation cockpit. Do you see? This is the place where the planning is done. You know the planning? Whatever things I spoke till now, that this is an OLAP system, and it will go through different calculations and things like that. So these calculations happen at this level. Like this. So you see here, these are called freight units. So what is the meaning of freight unit? Let's say I've got 100 kgs of cotton. It is changed into something else. Now you don't see the material here. See, there is no material. There is a freight unit number. No material is there. Why? Because if I am sending something, should the LSP know what is exactly inside it? He needs to know all the details though. But there is a different way he'll plan. He'll plan based on boxes or something, right? So the same way, this material or this freight unit, I am trying to move it. See here, from shipping point, I am moving it till customer. Scroll down. What are the trucks I have? And go here. What are the schedules I have? Means which airlines is available, which seaways is available. Like this, it will be there. And once you go here and you click optimizer planning, selected entries, automatically the optimizer will run to you. Means that pre-embedded programs will decide which is the best combination you can go. How? You will already say your constraints, that this material cannot go like this, etc., etc. You'll maintain all those things. All the parameters of what I discussed during the demo, all those things will be actually maintained at this level. And based on that, it will say, now see here, it says vehicle cannot be used. Why? Because there is some problem with this location. So do not use this particular vehicle. It will say like that. And then I'll select it. Let's say, and when I click on plan selected items, the planning is happening. And during the planning, it will decide how many materials can come. And you see here these truck symbols. So these are different trucks which are having it. And you see 5% consumed. Means you can keep more inside this truck. Like this, all the optimizer planning and etc. is handled in it. And not only that, you can also do, now see here, it says 81% of truck is full with this material. So I can put few more. So like this, all the things are handled in this functionality called optimizer. Okay, and you can see here ERP logistics integration. So this is a place from where we receive ERP data. This is where we plan it, and then we have got costing also happening. So I just can't explain all these things at once in a demo, but this is the place where costing will happen. you have got different costing sheets, etc. So everything is handled at this place at NWBC level only, because the architecture itself is completely different. Why it's like that, we'll discuss in the coming sessions. So gentlemen, this is what is the system and how the system performs to you. And any questions as of now?
So what is the system we are going to use for demo? Is it 9.4 or 9.3?
We'll be using 9.3. So like we all know, it is just an upgrade of a version. So some few parameters have been added, not new functionalities. Few parameters have been added. For example, some new screen in one particular table, some new view in particular table, and things like that. So this is the latest system which is available in any of the trainings. We go anywhere, because 9.3 is the latest guidance system we have got here. And but yeah, so as far as 9.4, I'll just tell you, once we go through those different screens, once we get to those topics, very minute changes in terms of version, so we can discuss that as far as 9.4 is concerned if required. Yeah.
Yeah, one more question I have is, are you also going to tell the differences between embedded 9.5 on HANA 1709 and 9.3 and 9.4? Are you going to tell the differences?
If required, I can take a separate session for you, because let me tell you something. You can mute yourself. HANA 1709, TM on HANA 1709, it's still at a virgin phase. And not only this, we have got EWM folks also, right? So in spite of EWM and TM integrating with S4 HANA, we are still getting new releases of EWM and TM. Why? It's because the EWM and TM, you're still getting new releases, but at one particular place we speak about HANA 1701, 1709. The reason these things are coming is they are trying to adopt these new features into 1709, which is not happening actually. So most of the implementations, if you see now on EWM and TM, they are not ready to go on S4 HANA right now, because like say TM 9.4. TM 9.4 has been released in 2017, and now it is becoming active in 2018, whereas 1709 has been released much earlier than this. So what is happening with TM 9.4? Is 1709 getting updated with these things? No. And next thing, you want to do any enhancements in terms of simple logistics, it's very difficult to do there, because the cloud computing feature you have, it will not handle any new enhancements, but your business requires enhancements. So in that case, you have to go with the conventional TM non S4 HANA systems only. But yeah, I'll be able to tell you, because I can say that if you want to know 1709, these are the same functionalities which are there, except a few things, and I will be able to say only 4 differences are there. I can't discuss it in a demo though, because it's getting recorded for public. So only 4 differences are there when it comes to the TM system, which is on the conventional SCM platform, and the TM system, which is on S4 HANA Simple Logistics. Apart from that, no difference is there. So when that topic comes, I'll be able to tell you. I hope I answered everything.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Ajay, part of the course, are we going to discuss about any integrations with other modules or any?
So as far as ECC with TM is concerned, I'll be able to discuss how ECC is getting integrated with TM, including the backend settings of how the systems are getting connected and things like that. But most of the times I get friends from that is the right word. So I get friends from different modules. So they ask integrations from different module perspectives also. So when such a things comes, yes, I'll be able to help you how that happens. I will share all the relevant things, because at an IDES level, we can't integrate so many systems with a single TM system. We have licensing issues also. But yes, I'll be able to tell integrations across also if you require. But yes, from our course perspective, confining it to course perspective, if you ask me, integrations of how ECC is getting connected to TM will be discussed.
Thanks, Ajay.
So, Ajay, I have a question. Here's Srinivas here. So the TM system is always only connected to ECC system. So the shipment will be created in TM, and in terms the shipment will be sent over to ECC. In terms ECC will send that shipment attached to the delivery and sent to EWM. So I mean there is no connection between EWM and TM. What I understand, that's correct. Directly no communication between TM and EWM. Is it that valid point?
Standard, good question. So, okay. So, see, we can do integration with EWM with TM.
No, but usual process can.
Yeah, usual processes. There is a reason. Yes. So, coming to your question. So normally, whenever I say I am planning something, when I am saying I am planning my delivery, the first question is, when you are having delivery, should EWM plan it or TM plan it? So
no, the delivery will be created in ECC. So in terms of the delivery will be replicated to TM system. So TM will evaluate all the parameters and see what the best route, and it will generate a shipment number, and it will attach to the delivery and send back that information to ECC in terms of ECC, and then communicate to EWM, right? So there is no direct. My question is, there is no direct.
I'm coming to that
number.
I'm coming to that only. So the first question is, whenever we speak about EWM and TM, there is a lot of confusion going on, because EWM will also plan delivery and it will create a delivery request, and TM will also plan a delivery because it will create a DTR. So what's happening in most of the implementations, if you are using delivery based planning, delivery is created by EWM system. I mean, delivery request is captured by EWM system. You are doing, picking activity or something and triggering it in your ECC system. And then EWM can also create shipment, right? So you can create shipment also from EWM system. Then everything is handled by EWM. But the problem is EWM will not do cost calculation. EWM is a not cost calculation system. So in that case, if you are adopting that process, then what you have to do, EWM is coming with a plan. I have got 5 deliveries, and these 5 deliveries I can put into one container. You decided, you as of the EWM decided it. And let's say I'm giving a more complex case. So here EWM has created a shipment also, and they said we will only create the shipment, and in this shipment document I am putting this container, and in this container I have got 5 deliveries. Now EWM came like this. Now what TM system should do? TM system should not change anything whatever it has received from EWM. Then based on that, it should do cost calculation. Okay, so this guy is asking a container where he wants to put 5 deliveries, and he said it has to be delivered before, let's say, 20th of March. Before 20th of March means I can deliver it today also, right? I can deliver it today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, till 25th of March. I will decide which is the best time when I will have the least cost, or which is the best carrier who will provide the least cost. And based on that, I will do cost calculation. Coming to your question. And this is what you are trying to say. And next thing, what if you are not planning delivery in EWM? Then the process will become an altogether different one. Right? So sometimes in EWM, you have got certain things which are not there in delivery. For example, you are trying to move a delivery from your yard. You are trying to move material from yard to your storage location. Does that not require a vehicle? It requires a vehicle. Right.
But it requires an vehicle. TM not requiring that event, right? So
no, why not? Because you have a vehicle. You need a vehicle to move it. Let's say your yard is at your port, and your storage location is some 10 kilometers after the port. Don't you require a vehicle? So in that case, how are we handling it? There has to be an integration between EWM and TM in that case, but it will come in a different way. You are supposed to maintain these yards into, of course, no one really looked it from that perspective. we always assume that EWM is indirectly integrated, but there can be instances where EWM needs to directly talk to TM system because you're trying to move it from yard. Delivery cannot capture your yard, right? So when you want to do such things also, you require TM system to talk to EWM system. Of course, it's not the standard process, but yes, I think because I had a chance to work with SAP and speak with SAP on this as well. So this is something we are trying to, SAP is also trying to address. Just a heads up to you.
And also one more question. So it's apart from the shipment creation. So what I understand is TM also take care of like flight calculation. What is the, it depends on the distance and all the this whole route calculation also should happen in TM because the route will be determined, of course, initially in ECC, but does it honor by TM, or TM will overwrite with the route and in terms to ECC and then to EWM? How does it actually in user process? Is that the route calculations and price calculation will happen, and then invoice get captured this price what TM is giving the transport cost? Is that? But EWM doesn't care what the price it is. We never see that invoice also.
See, that's right. There is one basic thing we need to understand here. Before we say which system will dominate which system, first thing, sales order or a purchase order, the information in sales order or a purchase order is shared with external business partner. That is sales order information to customer and purchase order information across vendor. So the information what we provide to him will always be the same, but internally how you are planning it will be different. So when I say to the customer that I'll be moving it, let's say from Ohio to Atlanta, Cincinnati to Atlanta, when I'm trying to move this material from Cincinnati to Atlanta, the customer will only receive the information saying that I am moving it from Cincinnati to Atlanta. But route, when you say from Cincinnati, how you are trying to move it to Atlanta, customer is not bothered about it. He will always see that it's moving from Cincinnati to Atlanta. Whatever changes we do, now coming to your system question, if you create some sales order, it is having a route. In TM, can it have a different route? Yes, it can, but it will in no way change the sales order details, because sales order is a compliance document. It's not just an order, it's a compliance document. Once you give a sales order to the customer, you are not supposed to change a single word in it. So it will stay as it is, but based on that, you are playing your way inside your system. That is the reason even in EWM or anywhere, you change anything, the details are really, when you said you don't bother, the reason you don't bother is not because you don't bother. It's because there is a different system which is bothering it. You are not supposed to change it, but you play however you want inside your system. No details will be changed, but yes, you can handle it your own way inside TM. I hope I answered.
So you mean that whatever the route is there earlier shared with the transport system, but only thing is the price will be calculated based on the TM system will determine the route, lot of parameters, the shortest, the longest, and mode of transport, and finally the price will get calculated in terms it will transfer to the invoice, but it won't change any route values and all. It will remain intact.
Right. That's right. Right. Because you committed with that name to customer, so it will stay like that. But in delivery you can change it, but again we know that delivery is not a document which is handed to the customer, right? So again, so business wise, if you ask me, you're not supposed to do that, but system wise, it's possible. So if you ask me pure technically, I will say you can. There is a concept called ordered route and actual route and ordered route and actual route. You have got this concept. So where you can change the route at delivery level, you can change the route at shipment also. You can propose new route from EWM as well. So you can do that, but you can do that, but
because what my question is why? Because let's say you have 10 deliveries. It is created in ECC system. So all the 10 deliveries might be different locations. So like I say, the feasible route, longest route, let's say longest route to reach destination to the starting point to ending point, because we have to cover 10 deliveries, 10 customers. Okay, so obviously the route will not be a shortest route. You are bundling 10 deliveries into the truck. Then TM is decided to do this job because all are small amount of. So you need to go into one truck, bigger truck, it will cover all the legs. So if that is the case, still you are in TM will determine which route should go to cover all these 10 deliveries. Of course, it's the longest route. Then directly one end to end. One for one delivery, it is end to end. That is shortest. So, but still you are taking the longest route and putting the prices for longest route, but you are still showing the route is the shortest route because you are not going to change the route in the ECC, but still you are showing the route. So that is somehow it is not correct, right? So, but what TM will do then?
It is correct because it's mixture of two perspectives. Look into these two things differently. So customer A has ordered from place A to place B. Customer B has ordered from place B to place D, let's say. Place B to place D. A to B and B to C. Now what we are doing, you have got two sales orders. One is from A to B and another customer from B to C. In TM, you have created one optimized route saying that A to C. Fine. But for this customer, will you show his route or will you show another route? For this customer, it should be A to B only because you are delivering him from A to B only. And for another customer, you are delivering it from B to C. So to whatever route, two different sales orders, two different routes. For those related sales orders, deliveries will have the same routes. But inside your shipment, you can have different routes because you are combining multiple deliveries. How will that customer know that with your material, so many other deliveries are coming? He is not supposed to know that. So we never do like that. That is the reason always these things are handled independently. You do optimization of route in TM. That's a different thing. You do that. That is why TM is required. But you don't need to propose them to ECC to change the route. Instead, what you can do, you can create a shipment, and in that shipment, you can put an optimized route. But we know that the details of shipment route will not be sent to customer.
Okay.
Right? So he will only think that he is receiving his delivery. But he doesn't know that apart from his delivery, his truck is going to different places also. Because why is he bothered? He's only interested to know what route he is having. That's all. But other things, you should know it. So in your TM system, you will know it. You will have this visibility. From A to B, one customer is there. B to C, one customer is there. So A to C, I made one route. All these details will be there. But when you look at from ECC perspective, each sales order is different. You are not supposed to combine it like that. They don't know that you combined.
Okay. So one more last question. Let's say you have two options, like the shipment can be created in EWM as well as shipment can be created in TM system. Also in ECC also, of course, that's another scenario. So let's say when the delivery and the sales order delivery is happening in ECC, and obviously the delivery will be copied to EWM as well as the same delivery will be copied to TM. TM will, if in case TM scenario, TM will create a shipment. That is anyway, ECC will know that initially the shipment number and what the delivery number for that shipment. Whereas in EWM, the shipment creates, if that is the case, that information will not be transparent to ECC until unless the delivery got goods issued, right?
See,
delivery got post goods issued completely, because there is no vice versa communication between EWM and ECC in this case, because shipment is getting created in EWM.
Right. So that is the reason. See, whenever we speak about this place called transportation planning point, EWM system is not a place where this transportation planning point is actually existing.
Okay.
Transportation planning point, what we use in the system, it is a part of transportation which exists in the TM system only. When can you do the goods issue? When some carrier is coming and picking it. So that real transportation is, I mean, forget about TM, EWM, etc., etc. So why the system is actually doing like that? Because it is not ready to come with a shipment until unless you do the goods issue. Means until unless the carrier came there is no question of transportation because you are still in your warehouse. So, and coming to your question, what if I create from EWM and what if I create from TM? No, you don't create shipment from two things. If you are going with EWM based planning, there are different ways to do that. We can discuss that later. But yes, if you are going with EWM based planning, I would say that create shipment and do the picking. If you do the picking, delivery based picking is done, then yes, you can trigger till shipment. And then wait till the goods issue is done and then go to TM system and calculate costs. If you don't want to do like that, then you have one more feature. Just wait, let EWM do the planning. You take that planning details and you create a shipment from TM. So, but both I will never suggest. Do shipment planning from EWM also and from TM also. Transportation, whenever, if you ask me, whenever shipment creation is required, it's always better the TM system does it. It's good if EWM can only adhere to the delivery requests and plan based on that. I hope I answered.
So this training session basically in regular training 9.3, which is going to be get trained, demonstrated by you. So the basically integration between TM and ECC will be the major part, not integration between EWM and TM at all. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay. So how many classes for this? Basically, we can treat this, including configuration.
I stopped planning based on number of hours initially because this demo was also planned for 1 hour only. So sometimes, we get friends who work in two deeper things, so the discussions go on. So initially I used to plan it for 35 hours, taking each topic for 2 hours. But later I understood that if I go with our model, then it's gone, because there are probably people like you overlook when I speak on delivery and shipment, so it hardly takes 10 minutes to me. But there could be someone who can promote this topic for 2 days also to me. So I would say I would not stick like this, because that will make me rigid. That will make me also rigid. Instead, I would say ideally we plan to complete the target in 1 month. So in 1 month we try to complete the course, because we get different streams as far transportation is concerned. Some from SD stream, like you're from EWM. So I will get more questions. Though I don't have EWM with me here, I am sure I'll be facing if and else situations in case if you have EWM. So I don't decide it, but I can say that in 1 month we'll be completing the course.
So after completing, we'll be able to work as a functional in TM, or how much percentage I will be ready for that. Let's say I did the practice, whatever you train and whatever scenarios gone through, configuration and org structure and all configuration, that will be enough for us to go as a first implementation to work with someone else.
Definitely. I don't want to boast about, but you are with a very good TM consultant, and the course content what we have here is something which no one else covers. Not just in terms of content, there's nothing in the content, but I am into this, and I have so many. Indeed, I am one of the very few consultants who entered into TM module initially. So you can go ahead, because not only you, now I am seeing TM support projects. For the past 5 years, apart from implementations, there were nothing in TM. So all I had to handle was a batch of friends who were into implementations only. So indeed, my course is targeted on implementation perspective only.
So okay, I shouldn't ask this question, but I don't know. I'm thinking to ask you. So this is my first. Your first batch, or you teach at your TM?
I am in this.
So okay.
Due list. So like this.
No delivery due list, because you are not creating it from ERP. There is no VL01. There is no VL04. Nothing. You create a sales order,
okay,
and you enjoy the Saturday, and you come to see that delivery got created at on Monday.
Okay.
So I mean,
Fine.
once the shipment information sent, transportation planning happen, and shipment information sent over to ECC. In shipment, TM doesn't care whether delivery is goods issued or not. That's it. I think no communication back. Once planning is done, that's it, right?
Once planning is done, TM actually there are two things: one planning and one execution. So planning is only till goods issue. Once goods issue you do, that is the execution in TM. Now who is having the product? TM is having the product, right? When you goods issue, you did not goods issue to customer. Goods issue doesn't mean it went to customer. Goods issue means it went to the carrier. Carrier took your material. So there should be a visible. So from now, who is loading it? Carrier is loading it. Who is unloading it? Carrier is unloading it. Who is doing the customs check? Carrier is doing the customs check. So all those things have to be tracked from now on in TM.
Oh, okay. This point I didn't understand. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So even after carrier is loaded in warehouse, it's a dispatch from, it's done the goods issue for outbound. That time, of course, this information back to ECC. But again, ECC think again, it's hey man, this carrier is already dispatched from our location. So that information will pass to the TM again, a TM module again.
Yes.
So you mean
yes. Once the shipment has been goods issued, after goods issue, you want to track it now because it went out of your plant. But where is it? Carrier is carrying it. You want to see what are different levels, where it is right now. So all those things, execution is handled in TM.
Okay.
So anything out of your moment, once the material is out of your plant, you don't have any visibility in ECC, but that visibility can be captured in TM.
Okay.
So as you said, the delivery not required to create in ECC, so automatically it will be created. So it is based on OTR, but based on DTR, like how does that scenario work out in TM? Delivery based request.
Just like sales order, just like you're planning a sales order, you will plan the delivery. But in sales order, you're planning it from, is there any, can you tell me what difference will be there between sales order and delivery? Will shipping point change? I mean, will the source location change? Will the customer change? Will the material change? Only the stock will change, right? Stock will change sometimes, and sometimes material dimensions also change. So only those parameters, if they change, then it's better to go ahead with that. So that delivery planning will come at that time when the data here and there are little different. If it's the same, you just copy the requirement of sales order and paste it to delivery. That's all. I'll tell you how that is handled in system, but for now the answer is this one. Why we go with the DTR planning? When you think that in your business, the information in sales order and the information in delivery is completely different. For example, when you are working on food industry, so you don't know 100 kgs today, you might get some 10 products in 100 kgs. Tomorrow for 100 kgs, you can get only one product because weight you can't control for food industry. So there are certain industries where the information in sales order and information in delivery can completely change. At that time, it's better to go with the delivery based planning also.
Okay.
So Ajay, so every material, I'm sorry, I think I may be asking too many questions, but this is last question. So you're creating a material, every material does exist in ECC, should exist in TM also, isn't that? Do you have metal master also there? You need a metal attributes. So
you need a material master.
Okay. So a material master is there, customer master is there, vendor master is there, all there. And whenever you create a new material in ECC, this is go through SIF interface to the TM, or how does it go through? Of course, it is IDOC, obviously. It's SIF interfaces, right? SIF configuration work queue process.
Just like it's a normal SIF using RFC.
Oh, okay. So if some material is missing in TM, that need to so planning is failed. So we need to do the SIF particular material by manually. So let's say, for instance, of course, right? like how we are doing for EWM. Okay.
True. So it's the same SIP functionality. See, the only difference is with EWM and TM. EWM only goes with RFC, but in TM, when you are sending master data, you use RFC. When you are sending transaction data, you require SAP PI. Without SAP PI, TM will not work. For EWM, you don't require PI. Normal RFC and Trex will do that to you, but for TM, you require PI.
That's a major difference. Okay.
Yes.
Ajay, I have a last question. Like in LSP scenario, so like Amazon is like DHL is sending the DHL is dispatching the stock to the end customer. So how the availability check will carry out in case of LSP?
Ajay, before you answer that question, my apologies. I have to interrupt you in between. So I need to drop off the demo. Please excuse me.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate your knowledge, and I'm looking forward for the course to start. Thank you very much, Ajay.
You too. Thank you very much. Have a very good weekend.
Yeah. I want to keep all my questions to the course, not learn TM on one single day. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Thanks. You too.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you. Yeah, Bajrang. So see, availability check and etc. works on a concept called ATP, available to promise. Available to promise is not a new thing. SAP did not come with this concept. Available to promise is a standard thing which is used in a factory wherever you have got a picking location and a staging location. So when you are speaking about companies who are taking material from outside, there is no concept of availability check because you don't have a location where they can say available to promise. Because availability check comes into it, availability check as an internal factory thing. So LSP is not a factory. You will not have this. You will have a different thing where you will simply define the pickup times and etc. So I'll just give you an overview of forwarding order scenario the last day of our course. Then you will be able to understand this. But yes, you don't use availability check concept for LSP. There is no sales order. So why availability check?
Yeah, that's true. But how they will come to know, like,
Okay.
so these are the like how they will come to know, like, this stock has been.
I think Ajay, I think these are pure. I think it is a subjective question. So what I'm looking for, like what you discussed earlier. So this is you're showing, and it doesn't look like ECC screen. It is a portal screen. Is it TM? Sorry to interrupt you, Bajrang. Just because I want to know more of like what it is.
It's a pure portal.
The system is running. Yeah,
it's a pure portal. It's a pure portal.
We don't log into TM usually when we are during the training session to the TM system.
Yeah, we do.
So we do. So when what point of time we use this portal screen then?
We use the portal to configure. We use the portal to work on user and transactions. And as far as what we call it, as far as the GUI is concerned, there are some basic settings. Only those things are handled in GUI. Other things are handled in portal. We look into both.
Okay. Simultaneously, both GUI and this portal screen also will be involved. Okay.
Yeah. Or else both will be involved. Well, coming to Bajrang, we will discuss about this question at a later level. So how this is happening. There is a new concept called forwarding order. Then we can discuss how LSP scenario actually works. Okay.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, can we conclude now?